Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhidiritam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadaatatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Bhurida Jana. Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses with his intimate devotees at Dakshineshwar temple premises on Saturday, 27th of December 1884. This appears in the second volume of the original Bengali presentation, Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita 2:22:4, second volume, 22nd chapter and under 4th section. In the Hindi translation, it appears in the second volume, chapter 105, under 4th section, 205:4, and under chapter 35 of the chronologically presented English rendering, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. It being Saturday, and on the Christmas occasion, it is 27th of December, it's a Christmas season, holidays, so many devotees got the opportunity to physically come to Sri Ramakrishna and hear his nectar of words for their spiritual development. This tradition we find right from Sri Ramakrishna. He used to encourage the devotees to come near him physically to Dakshineshwar temple premises or wherever he is, so that there is a direct communication of spiritual wisdom. This has to be remembered. The spirituality is a matter of communication, not only through intellectual understanding, but by physical proximity. This is an important factor which in the modern times we have been trying to substitute over internet facilities. Many times think that the spiritual knowledge can be attained through Google Meet or internet facilities or through teleconferencing. Now, there is a dimension of spiritual vibration which has to be felt and imbibed and received wherever it is possible. This is an important aspect we find that due to the corona pandemic, we have been debarred to meet each other due to the extreme, this difficult situation. But as and when the situation improves, we should come back to our original conception and tradition of visiting the places of the divinity physically, to imbibe that spirit and vibration of spirituality. Now, here we find a particular character, Kedarnath Chatterjee. Now we know that Sri Ramakrishna was, as far as possible, despite his failing health, he used to physically assemble the devotees. Whenever he used to go to Calcutta, he would call them by names. Where is this person? You call him, he should come. Why this person has not come? He used to take personal interest to those who are particularly spiritually inclined, oriented. And he knew that his reach is limited. So he prayed to the Divine Mother that Mother may inspire other devotees to propagate the message of Sri Ramakrishna through them. At that point, it is to be remembered and noted that he was creating a band of preachers, pracharak. Not only he did the prachar himself, he prayed to Mother that Mother, please give some power, Shakti Pradhan Karo, that here Ramchandra Datta and Kedarnath Chatterjee, etc., so that they can spread the message of the Divine Mother as they learn from Sri Ramakrishna. See, band of preachers are being trained and catered, and that tradition is continuing till today. Now, so there's a question sometimes come that who's doing the preaching work of Sri Ramakrishna? Who's the source? So the answer is Sri Ramakrishna himself. Apani korile aponar puja, aponar stuti gan, bhavatarani pujari thakur, tumi he amar pran. The one song says that he himself is making his stuti, he himself is making his prachar. And this is the first time that an avatar worships his own image. We know the avatar comes, a divine incarnation comes in disguise. He does not want that he is known to others that he is God. We know that Sri Chaitanya Dev, he came and some people could recognize that he is God. And when one of his close devotees, he mentioned that he is God, hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Dev kept himself locked in a room for several days. I will not come, as a word of his dissent, his dislike. He said, you should never do it. Whereas Sri Ramakrishna, he has offered flowers to his own image and saying that this picture would be worshipped in every house in the days to come, and which is happening today. So he is not only preaching the name of God himself, but he is catering it through a band of secondary teachers. And then in the foremost was Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda later on said that whatever I said was his words. Whichever was true, whatever was good, uttered from his lips were his words. If by chance there was some mistake, there is some error, that is mine. He cannot be in error. So while preaching, while communicating his message, there might have been some lapses, and I acknowledge the fault for that. That is not, that he should not be made responsible for that. She said, Mani rupe rohi acho, hridaya thori, Ramakrishna tamaya pranam. He is the voice, he is my voice. I am a spokesperson. Now here Kedarnath says he was posted in Dhaka. Dhaka is now the capital of Bangladesh, and in those days, in the undivided and this Bengal under British rule, Dhaka was a prominent city other than Calcutta in Bengal. Kedar Chaturji was posted there by service, and he was having a gathering of devotees. Devotees used to come to him, and they used to offer various types of offering. Kedar asked Sri Ramakrishna, should I take those things? So Sri Ramakrishna says that if it is offered without any motive, that is fine, harmless, or else it is making a harm, so make a distinction. Now how one person will know that with what attitude the gifts are brought, whether they are brought with some selfish motives or some desires, or just for offering as a token of devotion, how could it be identified by common people? He is not, the Kedar Chatterjee is not a person of that spiritual height that by seeing as Sri Ramakrishna would know. Sri Ramakrishna could make a distinction, not only the motive, but also by the character of the person. It is told that the ahara shuddho shakta shuddhi satya shuddhi dhruvasmiti, a food item which is brought gets contaminated in three ways. One is jati, one is gun, and one is that sparsha dosh. Now, this one is this, you say, excited food material should be rejected, and if it is dirty and dust, that should be rejected, and the ashraya dosh, jati, gunan, ashraya, that the food is touched by an impure person, then it carries the impurity of the mind through the food. Normally we do not know, but Swami Vivekananda verified that this power Sri Ramakrishna had, and he exercised. In one congregation, he wanted to drink a glass of water. Now, one person who's apparently a very devout person, a Vaishnava, with all the marks all over and dressed in a saintly way, brought a glass of water. Sri Ramakrishna took the water for drinking, but he could not drink. Even if he tried, he could not drink. He stood still, then seeing that somebody thought that there must be some dirt in the water, so someone else brought some water and he drank. Vivekananda was, as a Narendranath, watching everything. He was a keen observation, and he saw that there is no impurity in that water, the clean, clear water. Then he wanted to verify that why this water was rejected by Sri Ramakrishna, by his whim, or there is some reason behind. So, when the congregation was over, then he was to follow Sri Ramakrishna, but he said, I have some other work here. I cannot go with you now. I will stay back. So Swami Vivekananda and Narendranath stayed back. And then when everybody went, he inquired about that person who brought that water. Now, there was his brother, was known to Narendranath. He asked his brother that, what about the character of your elder brother? The brother said that, I am his brother, I cannot tell you. How can I tell the nature of my brother to you? So Narendra was undaunted. Then he made further inquiry. He caught out of a person who was known to, and then he said he was a man of very bad character. So hearing this, Narendra could understand. Now this is the point. Kedar is asking that should I take food? Then Sri Ramakrishna said, if you can take it, it is good. So here, this Kedar has said one important thing, that I told them that I am completely without any tension, because I have resigned to a person who is my mentor. He knows everything. So Sri Ramakrishna said this is a good attitude, that when we resign in the hand of God totally, then God takes care of us. And if there is any lacuna, any impurity, that is covered by God. So there is two ways of dependence on God. One is that the Father takes hold of the hand of the Son, and the other is we hold the hand of the Father. Sri Ramakrishna makes this distinction. When the child holds the hand of the Father and walks, then he is safe, as long as he is holding the hand of the Father. But if by chance the hand is slipped, he may fall down, because he is not so adept to walk on his own. But in case the father takes hold of the hand of the boy or takes him on his lap, then the child is completely free from any tension. So we should have that attitude. Kedar says, I have that attitude. And he says that I have resigned to a person who knows everything. That is what he says here. There is an important statement. First, Sri Ramakrishna says that, should I eat those offerings? Now, Master said, it won't injure you if the offerings are given out of love for God, but they are harmful if they are given with any selfish motive. Now, how will you know? The Kedar said, I have explained everything to the devotees, and now I feel relieved. I have told them that he who has given me his blessings knows all. His dependence, যিনি আমার কৃপা করেছেন তিনি সব জানেন. I have taken initiation from you. I do not know anything. I have resigned. And he knows everything. Sri Ramakrishna says that is true. He acknowledges this, that when we resign, God takes the responsibility. We should have this confirmation on behalf of the divine Sri Ramakrishna, giving this confirmation to the devotees that if you resign on me, I will take care. As Sri Krishna gives this assurance that Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja, leaving everything, resign on me, is inviting. And what happens? Aham tva sarva papebhya moksheshya masucha. He is giving assurance, I will take care of you for all sinful environment, and don't worry at all. Moksheshami masucha. I will liberate you. Don't worry at all. Masucha. कोई सोचने का बात नहीं है. You will be completely तनाव मुक्त हो जाओ. हमारे पास शरण ले लो, हमारे निर्भर करो. Sri Ramakrishna is saying the same thing. That is true. Now, there is another meaning in this. He says, you see people of all sorts come here, so they find here different things. Now here, this another peculiar idea Sri Ramakrishna is giving, that he is the culmination of all paths and ways and thoughts and philosophies. Sarva Dharma Swarup. People of all varieties come to Sri Ramakrishna and get their respective guidance. It's a very peculiar and unique contribution of Sri Ramakrishna, which is different from the common run of people. Here we will understand this particular example. Kedar says, I do not need to know different things. It's not possible for us to know everything. As Sri Ramakrishna Giri, he knows Vaishnavism, Shakta, then Bhakti, Gyan, and Ramayit, Islam. So Kedar says, I do not know, I do not require also. Each person should follow one path, get perfection, and that's enough. But Sri Ramakrishna is making Kedar a preacher, his representative. This is important. So he says, no. Why not? One should know a little of everything. सब कुछ जानना जरूरी है. ये जब हम when we come to as a follower of Sri Ramakrishna, then we should have a wide mentality to accommodate various waves of God realization. श्री रामकृष्ण कहते हैं, यहाँ बहुत तरह के आदमी आते हैं, ये अनेक प्रकार के भाव भी दिखते, यहाँ पर अनेक प्रकार के भाव दिखते हैं. केदार सेज, मुझे अनेक विषयों को जानने की जरूरत नहीं है. श्री रामकृष्ण सेज, नहीं जी, जरा जरा सा सब कुछ चाहिए. एंड ही गिव्स एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ ए ग्रोसरी स्टोर. किराना का दुकान में सब कुछ मिलता है. अगर खाली एक किस्म का मसाला मिलेगा तो चलेगा नहीं. तो यहाँ पर देते हैं जो दैट एग्जाम्पल इज गिविंग दैट अगर कोई पंसारी का दुकान खुलता है तो उसे सब तरह की चीज़ें रखनी पड़ती है. कुछ मसूर की दाल भी, को इमली भी रख ली, ये सब रखने की पड़ता है. एंड अनदर एग्जाम्पल ही गिव्स, जो बाजे के उस्ताद है वो सब कुछ सब तरह के बाजे बजा सकते हैं. द पर्सन हु नोज सिंगिंग, ही नोज लिटिल बिट ऑफ ताल ऑल्सो, तबला, डिफरेंट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स एंड ऑल दैट. नाउ this if a man starts a grocery shop, he keeps all kinds of articles there, including a little lentil and tamarind. An expert musician knows how to play a little of all instruments. Now this is the difference between Sri Ramakrishna and other spiritual teachers. They particularly proclaim one way of God realization, but Sri Ramakrishna is jitne mat utne path. Whatever paths you follow will come to the same goal. He is preferring a variety. He says, I do not want to be monotonous. I want to taste God in various ways. So the followers of Sri Ramakrishna should have that Catholicity. They should not be narrow-minded, that God can be achieved by this method only. Each one is free to follow one particular method, and here is one teacher who accepts one and all. All methods are valid, provided they are practiced in the particular perfection in that particular mode. So with this, Sri Ramakrishna is encouraging Kedar that they should follow, should have the wideness, liberal, this attitude in his mind. उदारता रहना चाहिए. जो भी जिस मत से आ रहे हो वो अल्टीमेटली जाके भगवान के पास पहुँचेंगे. Now, this was possible for Sri Ramakrishna because he practiced so many paths, so many methods. This simply by intellectual concept would not do. He had the realization of different paths. So whenever a person would come and ask that whether the particular problem in their method of spirituality, he would give an answer from his own realization. That yes, I have also faced the same difficulty while practicing this method, and this is how I resolved the problem. So he's sharing his own life by his own experience. That's why each person got the teacher of his own line. This is, when he studies his life, we find that even the different devotees of different class, they found their solutions. Because he practiced all these methods in his own life. So herein comes the three methods of spiritual verification. Whenever we have a realization, how will you know that that is true? So it must be that with three-dimensional this verification, Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti, that whatever we realize, how will you know that this is a reality is true, or it is that mental derangement? So if we realize something, that Anubhuti should be supported by our reasoning. Yuktivadi hona chahiye, it should not be unreasonable. If we realize something which is contradictory to our intellectual assent, then it is questionable. And thirdly, that it should have a concurrence in the scriptures, Shruti. That yes, this has been it has been recorded in the scriptures. That is, it is being supported by the experiences of our predecessor. Somebody else has also realized truth in this way and recorded. Scriptures are the historical records of our realizations of their past masters. So when they have seen, they have recorded, and if that is in accordance with my personal realization, then it is acceptable, taken to be true. Now either it should be recorded in scriptures or to be corroborated by saints and seers. So here is one person, Sri Ramakrishna, who is giving an authentication of the spiritual realizations by his own realization. So he becomes more than a Shruti. That's what he says, that my experiences have gone far, which has been recorded in our Vedas and scriptures. His dimension of the spiritual realization surpasses what is recorded in the scriptures. So Sri Ramakrishna says, that's why people come here. Here they get an answer of their particular spiritual path, because I have traveled to those places, and those who are associated with me should have that sort of Catholicity. The Shruti, Yukti and Anubhuti must be corroborated, and so Sri Ramakrishna's word, that's why, is so perfect and acceptable by one and all. Then Sri Ramakrishna there is a break, and Sri Ramakrishna gives further discussion, which we'll consider in our next Sunday interaction. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampadrita vigraham vai ishavataram parameshamidyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. This announcement. There will be youth program here in the afternoon, and Shobhit Narayan also will interact today from 5 to 6. And the lectures from Colombo to Almora, and Dr. Rashmi Shoni has also started a personality development class, this workshop in our Sarada Devi library for a series of 7 interactions. Some registered youth are participating in that. Shobhit Narayan is also conducting youth counseling on Wednesdays and Sundays for 2 hours in our Sarada library. In the evening, there will be, after the Aarti, there will be chorus bhajan. And the week ahead, we will have on Friday, the talk on the Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi and Narada Bhakti Sutra in the evening, and also the following Sunday, the Sunday class. Now we will close with the chanting of the Divine. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om.